Okay, let's jump right in. Here's something to think about for you listening.
Yeah.
When was the last time you actually maybe surprised someone,
Yeah.
maybe even scared them a tiny bit, just by how much you'd leveled up?
Yeah.
Because, we often want to be the hero, right? In our own story, or
Yeah.
the one everyone likes, the one who saves the day.
Yeah, seeking that approval, that kind of nod from the crowd.
Exactly. We want people to think, oh, what a great person. But this source we're diving into today, it's got this really provocative title, The Villain Arc, Resurrection Through Adversity. And it just flips that whole idea.
It really
It
does.
basically argues the hero is, well, kind of weak if they haven't gone through something like a villain arc.
That title alone, villain arc, it definitely makes you pause, doesn't it?
For sure.
So our mission today, I think, is to really unpack what this source means by villain arc. Because let's be super clear up front, it's not talking about being malicious.
Right, not about hurting people.
No. It's framing it as this incredibly deep, almost unsettlingly powerful kind of personal transformation. We're trying to pull out the insights here, from a concept that sounds negative but seems to point towards something really positive, like unapologetic growth.
Okay, so if it's not about being bad, where does this transformation actually start, according to this idea?
Well, the source puts it pretty starkly. It says it's forged in real pain. Like, think about those times you felt properly betrayed or maybe lied to, walked over, forgotten, dismissed.
Yeah, that feeling, like a punch to the gut, maybe when you're a bit too trusting, a bit naive.
Exactly that. And the argument is, from that specific pain, you stop asking the universe, why me?
And you start saying,
You start declaring, maybe just to yourself at first, watch me.
ooh, okay, that's a shift.
It is. And this is where it gets interesting. You stop feeling the need to explain yourself all the time.
You stop chasing approval,
Exactly. You stop sort of watering yourself down so other people feel okay around you.
right? Instead, you start doing what needs to be done. Maybe quietly, maybe loudly, maybe just with this really intense focus.
That's a really key point. It's not about becoming cold or shutting down emotionally. If we look at the bigger picture in this resurrection through adversity idea, the villain arc means becoming genuinely, authentically untouchable.
Untouchable. How so?
It's about choosing yourself, like really choosing yourself so intensely that the very people who maybe looked down on you or underestimated you, they actually start to fear losing access to you.
Wow. Okay, so like examples.
Yeah, think about building that physique they said you couldn't, or achieving that financial freedom they swore wasn't possible for you, or just consistently getting up at 4 a.m. to chase a dream they laughed at.
It's a change so deep, so authentic that people just have to say, wow, they've really changed.
Exactly. It's undeniable, which, makes you ask, how many of us are really willing to push through that much discomfort to actually get there?
That's the real question. And what does this mean for you, the listener, on your own journey? The author is really clear, this villain arc, it isn't about getting even.
No revenge plot here.
No, it's about resurrection. It's about becoming a version of yourself that doesn't flinch anymore, that doesn't feel the need to justify their success or their boundaries.
You walk into a room and you don't even need to say anything. Your energy does the talking because you've just become undeniable.
Okay, and does the source give any, tools for this? How do you actually do this?
Yeah, it does offer some interesting perspectives. It says, in your villain arc, silence becomes a weapon.
Silence as a weapon, not just being quiet.
Right. It's more like a deliberate withdrawal from needing external validation. You stop constantly explaining your hustle, your choices.
You let the results speak instead.
Precisely. Your results speak so loudly that your absence from, say, the gossip or the need to explain, that becomes powerful in itself.
Okay, well.
Focus becomes your friend. Real, laser-like focus on your path. And maybe most provocatively, comfort becomes your biggest enemy. Oof. Comfort as the enemy. Yeah, it's a direct challenge. Stop being a people pleaser. Stop dwelling on those who didn't see your value. Just forge your own path, build your own thing, regardless of what anyone else thinks.
So if we kind of bring this all together, the core message from this deep dive into the villain arc really seems to be about this profound personal resurrection.
Not retribution.
Right.
Yeah.
It's about building that version of yourself that genuinely doesn't need saving anymore. You rise from the ashes, maybe of past hurts, or just being underestimated.
It really highlights the power of choosing yourself. Choosing yourself so completely that the people who saw you as small before, They now recognize the force you've become and maybe fear losing that connection.
A radical self-focus that just changes the game, changes how others see you, lets you step into your full power.
Untamed power, maybe,
Yeah.
yeah.
So considering these really potent ideas, silence is a weapon, focus is your friend, comfort is the enemy. Here's a final thought for you.
Hmm.
What tiny part, maybe just one small aspect, of this villain arc mindset could you embrace?
Just a little piece.
Yeah, just something small to truly level up and maybe stop needing quite so much external approval. What might it mean for you to, radically shed some old limitation, to build something truly unforgettable? Something to think about.